I'm certified nutritionist Mira Calton.
And I'm Dr. Jason Calton, and welcome to Calton Nutrition Television and our show In Depth, where we explore the stories behind the leaders, visionaries, and innovators changing the world. And today we have a very special guest with us. He's actually a very good friend of ours. His name is Dr. Pedram Shojai. Did I get that right, Pedram?
You did.
Jason is just known for not ever being able to pronounce things, which is amazing that he married Mira Calton, because you would have think that he would have gotten that wrong as well.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about Pedram. He is the founder and president of Well.org. He studied biology at UCLA, had a series of profound experiences that drew him into Eastern esoteric arts. Since then, he studied Kung Fu, Tai Chi, yoga, meditation, medicine for over the past 20 years, and his passion is to travel around the world and meet inspiring people who are making a difference in their communities. That was probably one of our passions, and we met Pedram, and that's why we were bringing him to you. His goal is to teach people how to wake up. He's passionate about teaching the skills that he's learned over the years and helping people wake up and live their lives fully. So welcome to the show, Pedram.
Great to be here. Nice to see you guys.
Absolutely.
Nice to see you.
Now, we love Pedram, and for everyone out there, we just want you to know, like, this really is someone that we believe in his work. We believe in it so much that, you know, we work together with him on Be More Magazine. So if you're one of the people that has been reading Be More Magazine, going through our links, seeing the incredible content that he has put together, this is the man that put the package together.
This is the face behind
This is the face behind Be More. So we're really excited to be his friend and to be able to work with him and for all the great things that he's bringing you guys. So.
Yeah. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through a series of our questions, and we're really going to get to know you on a personal level. We want everybody watching to walk away from this saying, wow, I feel like I just spent 45 minutes on the couch with Pedram. Now I know him. So that's kind of our goal.
So we know you're awesome. Now everyone else is going to know that you're awesome also. So let's just start. I'll start off with the first one. What started you going down this insane path that you've gone on with all these amazing experiences?
You know, when I first got into school wanting to be a doctor, I was studying with some of the best at UCLA, and I had a couple experiences where I was just scratching my head saying, God, everyone in here is so miserable, and like there's just no life in here. And my attending told me, you know, something. He said basically like, you know, what do you expect us to do around here? I mean, we're hoping that they die of natural causes before we kill them. I mean, what do you really think we could do for these people? And it was so impactful at the time that I said, well, I can't conscionably look down the barrel of a life of this and not kill myself. I mean, this is horrible. And so at the time, I was studying some martial arts. You know, I was always wanting to be a Jedi from childhood, and all of a sudden I found a Taoist Kung Fu master, and I said, that's it, I'm in. You know, and so I started studying Tai Chi and Qigong and Kung Fu, and I drank the Kool-Aid, and you know, a couple years later I became a Taoist monk, and just boom, took off and started studying and traveling the world and swinging from vines in the Amazon, and anything that was either adventurous or interesting or both. I got my hands in it, and you know, I just never turned back.
So, but this quest for thriving for this lifestyle and for wanting to wake everyone up comes from the fact that you were living in a world that was asleep there for a while. Now, what brought you to actually calm down, at least to the, not that you're calm now, but to the level that you've been able to create a lifestyle where you're having a baby and you can have a company and really put the magazine out? What has gotten you there? I mean, obviously, you've changed that direction from, you know, all the crazy things you're doing before and swinging from vines.
Yeah, that's a great question, actually, because I came back, after I took ordination as a Taoist priest, I came back from the Himalayas. I was actually studying with the Dalai Lama and a bunch of different teachers out there. I came back and started an acupuncture practice. I'm a doctor of Oriental medicine as well, and so I started a practice and realized just the shortcomings of the industry, and then said, well, screw this. I'm going to reinvent the way this works. So I started a medical group, and just based on principles that I know, and I'm really good at manifesting things because I have clarity and intent, and there's a whole formula for that I'm actually going to write an article on for this month's edition of Be More. But you know, I put together this thing. Next thing I know, I got Dick Butkus as my spokesperson. We got 3 offices, and we're growing. And I got all these doctors, MDs, psychologists, physical therapists, you know, all sorts of people working for me. And we're just, you know, so I'm in the world. I'm making money. And I'm just not happy with it because what I thought was an integrative medicine practice kept getting nudged into the world of what's reimbursable by Blue Cross, what the insurance companies let you do, and they only pay for diagnosable illness. They don't pay to help you keep people well. And it just became a crisis of conscience. And I said, this isn't what I got into this game for. Here I am, having gone full circle, sitting at this boardroom, and I had worked. I was in my 20s, you guys. Like, I was a young man, and I was sitting at this like hospital CEO convention where I'm like, I'd finally made it to the table. I'm sitting with these like really kind of big names in the space. I'm not going to name who they are, so I don't incriminate them. But and I remember I turned to one of my guys who's the CEO of the hospital that I was hosting, and I said, "Hey, how's it going, man?" And he just shook his head and he said, "Shitty." I said, "Well, what's up?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, "We need to get some rain up in here or something. I need some people to fall off the roof because my emergency room has been empty." And I had this moment where I'm looking at his face, and then like I did this pan focus thing where there's this big banner behind him that said like 9th Annual Wellness Convention, right? So I'm looking at him and looking at the banner, going, "Where am I right now? What did I just hear?" Right? Yeah. And I realized that I spent all this time and energy working my way to the wrong table. Yeah. And that's when I pushed away and said, nope, I'm getting into education, and I'm getting into film, I'm getting into writing books, and I'm getting into the core of what it means to teach people how to stay out of this mess. Because if you're in a profession where you are actually wishing ill will upon people so that they can become customers of your business, you've blown it, man.
Yeah. Right. Oh, well, for sure.
Yeah, I actually had kind of a similar story. I was doing an externship at an orthopedic clinic office when I was studying pre-med, and a guy came in. He was about 400 pounds, and the doctor, I was there in the room with him, and he said to the patient, I'll give you the hip replacement, but you have to lose 100 pounds first. And the guy just kind of looked at him like he was just dumbfounded, like, how in the world, do you think I know how to lose 100 pounds? Look at me, I'm 400 pounds. He kind of looked at me like, help, and when the guy left, I said to the doctor, I said, do you think he's going to come back? He's like, I hope he doesn't come back. He's like, first of all, I don't think he's ever going to lose 100 pounds. Second of all, if he does, he'll probably just gain the weight back and will end up doing the other hip. And that was really one of my eye-opening experiences. I did not want to continue down that path in traditional medicine. I wanted to get into the preventative side of nutrition. And it sounds something very similar to what you experienced. These people, not everybody in traditional medicine obviously is like this, but it seems like a lot of them are much more interested in making their 5:30 golf game than they are doing anything else. So. And
you're doing it through Be More. You're doing it through your movies. Now tell us about the latest movie that you're doing.
It's a movie called Origins, and we're editing it right now. I'm actually I just got back from my last kind of trip of the year, not the year, but of the season, because I'm basically going on lockdown to finish out this movie, which is coming out later this summer. The first movie, Vitality, which I will talk about in a minute, has really made a splash and it's done some wonderful things. And then we kind of followed up with it where we said, okay, our ancestors, what did they look like? What was food like, right? And what was stress like? What was life like? And how did our physiology differ from our modern physiology and what we've had to adapt to in this crazy modern hustle and bustle world, right? So we went to the first caves where our ancestors stumbled out of after the last ice age and learned to coexist with the animals. We were tracking lions and learning how to navigate and survive out in the African bush. We did wilderness survival courses all over and did walk the John Muir Trail and just did a bunch of wonderful adventures to really track through this and interviewed lots of the biggest names in the health and wellness space, kind of like the New York Times best-selling big hitters, and really got some great interviews. And the whole thing is it's audacious in some ways, because what I'm really working to do on this film is tie in personal health with environmental global health and make people understand that those two go hand in hand. I mean, from your gut bacteria to the way you integrate with the food that goes into your body, it's inside outside same. And so what we're really trying to teach people to do is to take on environmental stewardship, starting with their bodies, and become better citizens and really part of this real Athenian, if you will, revolution that's happening, these frames of mind, the thinking that's happening, that's shifting in terms of moving us to a much more sustainable future that starts with how we look at ourselves and look at our own behavior.
Right. I mean, so many of the processes that are actually harming the food that we eat are actually harming the planet that we live on as well. And so unless we find a way to make the food not kill us and not kill the planet that it's growing on, we're really going to be in a really sad place in the future. So I'm excited about Origins. And that's going to be a really cool movie. We'll be very excited to see that one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
And if people haven't heard of Vitality yet, Vitality the movie is an excellent film. We'll have a link below that you can click on and make sure you check that out as well.
Yeah, we're going to actually offer a free screening to your tribe. You know, what I do with friends of mine, people who I know, love, and respect, is we have a free screening platform where we actually let people see the whole movie. Because what we're trying to do is just get the message out. And we've had, oh my God, I mean, the Ministry of Health of the country of Namibia is sharing it with all the children in the country, saying you need to watch this in order to understand how to live. You know, we have governors of different states that are now working to get this into the foster care children's programs so that they can really help kids understand that lifestyle is the key. Because you guys know better than any, right, is, yeah, you could go into the orthopedic office and run into that really tragic story that you just told us, Jason, but the essence of that is that dude is just out of hope, right? He's following an algorithm, and within that algorithm, he's like, well, what do you expect us to do, right? And it's so closed-minded and it's so shut down now that if people just, you know, if we stepped out of that ring of medicine and went into the wild world of lifestyle and what we can personally do to enhance our health instead of just waiting for the next disease that someone's got to help us with, right, then chances are you don't get sick as often. You do better, you thrive, and that's really what we're talking about, right? Is how to get people just out of the matrix of that kind of dark sinkhole and into a world of abundance and real energy and sustainability that comes from being well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You've had some amazing experiences, it sounds like, with making of Origins. Now, one of our next questions for you is, what have you discovered about yourself during this past year?
I think one of the things I discovered at turning the corner from my 20s into my 30s, and now I'm like 38. So, but just is you know, you realize that you're not immortal, right? Is you know, the overabundance of energy that you have to be able to do all things at once starts to kind of wane, and you start to go, okay, I need to really pick and choose what I'm going to do, the people I hang out with, the stories that we do, and you really start curating more because you get to the point where you're like, all right, there's X amount of finite time, wifey's pregnant, all this stuff is going on, what's important to me? Yeah. Right? And I just started, I've been going through a distillation process where, you know, we are only working with companies that are making a difference. We're only working with people who are making the world a better place. And we're hanging with the upper echelons of thought leaders that are helping inspire a transformation in how the world is evolving and how commerce and economies are evolving so that we can have a sustainable future and we could all, you know, enjoy this planet together instead of fight over resources and kill each other. Right. So I've just upped the game, and I'm just doing stuff that I'm passionate about. And, you know, health is really kind of the precursor to all that. Because if you don't have your health, you can't even think straight.
That I know firsthand.
Totally.
Absolutely. So I'm going to ask, what's your favorite part of your job, of your day-to-day work? What's your favorite task to be doing?
Kind of like, I'd have to say this, right? Is hanging.
No talking?
Yeah, hanging out with people that I enjoy, having conversations, sharing wisdom, and, you know, just being able to move things forward by having authentic dialogue and not get into all that gimmicky crap that people are just trying to like hawk sales on people and all this kind of stuff. I just, you know what? I just like to tell it like it is. I like to hang out with people who are doing good work and join forces to do it. So for me, it's really like I've made a lot of very good friends in meeting people that I just know and respect. I mean, I was just, this weekend, I was hanging out with Tim Ferriss, who I'm a big fan of his work, right? So I'm hanging out with him, and we're just going back and forth on, like, just talking shop and all that. And then he looks at me and goes, "Where do I know you from?" He says, "Oh, Creative Live." And so we got this whole thing about, like, how he recognized me from Creative Live, because this is a TV spot that I did that was just to get out there and help the world, right? And in doing so, now I'm here hanging out with a guy who's a hero of mine, and we're just, we're broing down because it's like we're doing it, right? And we're helping people, and in doing so, we kind of acknowledge each other's work, and we say, yeah, awesome. How else can we help people? So I think that's a fantastic model for the future, is collaborative capitalism, and just working together to generate abundance and help make the world a better place.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, sometimes they get down and they get a little afraid, where are we going? The world's just heading for catastrophe. But, they have to look at the positive side, too. There's a great group of people out there right now who are really working together, using that collaboration, and we are at a tipping point where I think that people are really going to see a difference in how medicine, how health is thought about over the next 5 or so years. I think we're headed for a space where we can use preventative medicine and preventative nutrition to really reverse and prevent the diseases that are affecting so many people today.
And actually, we get phone calls, and it's actually happening more now from some of the standard medical type groups. Mm-hmm. We actually, just Blue Cross Blue Shield called us the other day and said, how can we work your preventative practice into our practice here in the state of Florida? So, I mean, that's what's making the difference. They're seeing us do these types of things. They're seeing that we actually care about what we're doing, and that it is helping people, and that people aren't getting sick. And so, I mean, that's a win.
Yeah.
I'll do that all day.
It's a huge win. And, like I sit on a couple of these panels. I'm actually flying around a lot, speaking at a lot of these conferences now. And we're, what part of this is, I guess we could be thankful to Obamacare in some way, because of some of these mandates, these people that have been living high off the hog, making money off the spread in medicine, are now being forced to talk about wellness. And they don't even know where to start with wellness, right? So we're actually, Be More Magazine's going to get syndicated to a bunch of these people. They're dying for this type of content because they have no idea how to even start, because all they've been doing is just walking into this, it's almost like a shill model, right? Where they go into this conveyor belt, moving units, which happen to be humans with lives and aspirations and families and loved ones, through a machine that is going to extract money out of them and maybe get them better, maybe not, but it doesn't really matter, right? And that's just, it's so dehumanizing. And so these people are absolutely clueless, and they're looking to people like us saying, can you please give us solutions? We don't even know where to start. So I think it's awesome they called you.
Yeah, we're actually going to be doing a cool thing, and we haven't told you yet, and just because we're friends, I want to tell you. And everyone listening should find out about this anyway. We have a segment we're doing called Treadmill Talk, where we're going to be at our treadmill desk, and we're actually going to be walking people through all the headlines of diet and nutrition that are hitting every week, because there's so many bad stories and bad, they're not really reading the studies, they're not reporting them well, and they're scaring people out them and not giving them good information. So what our hope is that we'll actually be able to get those to the doctor so that they know how to answer the question when someone comes in and says, hey, I heard vitamin E is bad for me because I read that. What do you think, doc? And a lot of times people might not know because it might not be their area of interest. So we're excited about that one.
Love it.
Our next question for you is, what's your least favorite part of the job? We talked about the things that you love, but what do you dread when you wake up?
Yeah. I was taught to always be involved in all aspects of my business so that I understand it. And I think I took that to a whole new level and got a little too involved in too much, where it really started to zap my creativity and just my fun time. And I think that's the juice that helps kind of drive the brand and help us, see clearly, right? And so what happened, we had a hyper growth phase, and Well.org is doing really well, and everything's wonderful in that capacity, so I'm very thankful about it. But what happened was, I ended up, I was wearing way too many hats, and I was doing operation stuff and just everything, right? And so in the last 6 months, I've really been, in this process of kind of extricating myself from a lot of the processes and bringing on pros that are good at that kind of stuff, that do that kind of stuff, so that I could kind of hang out and tell story, or go to Nepal and interview the Lama that I've been wanting to talk to, and just do the parts that inspired me to get into this in the first place. So really just learning to outsource and get more clear on how to run a business. I didn't start this to make it a business. I started this because it was awesome, right? And then all of a sudden a business forms around it, and then you gotta kind of like, make do and make it work. But I started this as a passion project. So next thing I know, the passion starts to go away when all you're doing is dealing with like links that aren't clicking and like
right.
Website stuff that is, it's like, ugh, that's not
farm it out, right? Yeah. We're all learning this. It's a big lesson to release that control. But I guess you probably learned a lot about that when you were doing your Buddhist stuff. You were really able to release control of some of the things around you that you aren't in control of, and we're trying to get that down.
Yeah.
I think you're doing better than we are.
Yeah, it's not easy. I'll tell you, it's not easy, especially when it's your baby, and you want to make sure that you've brought on trustworthy people and all that kind of stuff. But what it really boils down to is understanding what your strengths are and understanding how to leverage other people's strengths so that you can work together as a team. Right now, I am so close with my team. I love them. We we hang out. We have a great time together, and we all get it. Right, and so it's a powerful tool in realizing that you want to help empower other people to be what they're best at, so that you can kind of just hang out and do what you're best at. And I wasn't taught that in the monastery. Even I was taught how to not freak out about it. But business management isn't something you learn as a Taoist or a Buddhist or anything.
Yeah.
So we were just at dinner with you not that long ago, and although we didn't get a chance to talk too much,
we missed you at the other
end of the table. It was a big
it was a long table.
Group of us, yeah. So the question we want to know, and everybody watching wants to know, is what's your favorite food? Now, it doesn't have to be a healthy food. It just has to be your favorite food.
Wow, okay. Well, I want to start this by sending a shout out to whoever owned that restaurant. That was an amazing meal.
We're going in 2 days again for my birthday. Yeah.
Excellent. Happy birthday. Yeah, that was an amazing meal. I have to say that I am.
Oh, by the way, it's Boca in Tampa.
Yeah.
Big shout out to you guys. Amazing.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I couldn't remember it, so I was hoping you would. I just jumped in a cab. So I am a big fan of a very well prepared grass-fed steak with tons of vegetables around it. I mean, that's my shtick. I've loved it, but and it's just, it feeds me. I tried being a vegetarian person. I have nothing morally, ethically against any of that. I don't draw those lines. I mean, do what you do in that capacity. Just eat clean food. I tried being a vegetarian for a while, and it just didn't suit me. And I was food combining correctly and all that, and personally, it didn't work for me. And I found that just some high impact protein with really good clean veg. So if I were to have, a grass-fed steak with some spinach and even anything, chard, kale, collard greens, anything on the side, I just feel like Superman after that. I'm just so clean and focused and all that that's it. Now, that being said, a lot of people say, oh, do you have that every night? No, a couple nights a week, right? We have a lot of salad. We'll make soups and broths. We'll do a lot of chicken and fish. But if you're talking about favorite meal,
there you go.
That's the one that makes my mouth water.
Good.
Okay.
Good to know.
Now if you weren't you, or you weren't doing what you're doing now, you can still be you. What job would you have? What's the other job that really would make you excited to go and switch careers right now?
Ooh, I was gonna say, yeah. The first part of that, if I wasn't me, I'd have hair. What job would I have? You know what? And I see this happening in this this millennial generation of kids growing up who finally kind of shaken off the mental memes of the algorithm that you need to go work for Goldman or you need to go to Wall Street and fall into the Matrix type of thing. Right. And so there's this whole industry of outdoor adventure living. Right, and if I weren't me, I would have been the old me, because I used to own a summer camp for kids, and when I decided I wanted to be a doctor, I sold it and went off and did that. But we would just go and adventure and travel and see the world and camping and rock climbing and ropes and all this. But I mean, I would take that to the adult level, right? So if I were to do another career. I'd be leading people on safaris. I'd be leading people into temples in Nepal, and I'd be traveling the world, just checking out. I'd have a TV channel called Awesome, and everything that's awesome we would just go do because that's why not, right? And so who knows? Maybe we'll move into that.
We should do some Calton Project Vitality travel groups.
Yeah.
Bringing people into some of the places that we've traveled to and that you've traveled to, and bring the specialists and the experts around with them. That'd be fun.
Well, how about this? If you're watching this right now and you think that's a good idea, go ahead and email the Caltons and let them know, and we'll get it going.
Yeah, I can definitely see you doing that. We've been talking about it. Doing a Calton project into the Brazilian Amazon, or going to any location, Papua New Guinea, or all the different places.
Building something for a local tribe, and then also learning about the culture, the food, and what they're doing that's keeping them so healthy.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot. Yeah, let us know if you guys want us to do that. All right. So, next question. What is your least favorite word?
Ooh. My least favorite word is the word hate. And the reason is it really changes the energy of the entire bioelectric human field as soon as you say that. And I'm very careful. It's like the literal translation of Genesis is, as I speak, I create, right? And so I'm very careful about how I choose words normally, and just the mindfulness of it all. And I have looked at so many studies showing how the right use of the right energy will shift your performance and the dynamics of how you do everything. And I think the word hate shuts down the heart, and once the heart is shut down, things just don't flow correctly. Even if you're thinking straight, things just don't manifest correctly in your life because you're not tied into that creative energy. You should lock it down.
I like that.
I love that. That's great.
If you could meet anyone alive today, who would you want to meet? And this is a great time for you to shout out to anyone that you're looking to meet.
That's right.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? Oh, God, I'm a fan of so many people.
I love hearing people's answers to these.
Yeah, that's a good one. Wow, you're making me think now. If I could...
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, no kidding. There's a man by the name of Babaji who is the original Babaji, and I have a couple friends who have met him, and they say he keeps coming in and out of body. Who's in the high Himalayan mountains in India, allegedly now, who is kind of one of the great saints that have basically walked this planet. And I've had the distinct pleasure of hanging with people who've been disciples of him. And there are a few great spiritual masters still walking on this planet. Yeah, if I had one to choose from, it would be Babaji.
So we can all sort of help you manifest that if you like what you're watching, and if you think Pedram is like an amazing guy, like join the manifestation for this one, because I would love to hear. I would love to hear that this actually happens.
Yeah, so Babaji, if you're on your laptop right now, just know, I'm plugging in mine right now, there we go. Just know that you've got a fan out there, big guy.
So we talked a little bit about the Calton project, the idea of traveling to all these different places, and we know you want to travel the world, and we know you want to bring that adventure, but the question is, where would you go on a dream vacation? You could go today. We're going to say you leave right now. Where are you going?
Oh, wow. Okay. I have to qualify that by saying Kathmandu is what I consider adult Disneyland. I mean, it is one of the coolest places in the world. There's like stupas and temples everywhere, just people. It's like this intelligentsia of people studying reality and being cool to each other. So I think Kathmandu is my obvious go-to. But because I've been there, I would say I have to say Bali adjacent. Because I've never been to Indonesia, and I keep hearing from people how beautiful it is. So that would be my next let's hit it destination.
Okay, and if you're going to do that, please go to Lombok, which is like right next door, little islands, and you'll be the only people there all afternoon at the little Gili Islands.
Yeah, but yeah. So off of Lombok, there's another little islands called the Gili Islands that are
amazing.
So remote.
You and a whole bunch of children who just somehow make it to the little island when they see people there and come play island games with you and running around the little plots. It's just so pleasant and so
That's perfect. Yeah. That's perfect because and that's the reason I said Bali adjacent, because from people I've heard who've gone down there on boats, they find their little like remote paradise and they're like, oh my God, this is it. This is exactly what I've been looking for. Just serenity and beauty and like people whose smiles are so radiant that you don't know what to do with. And I had a lot of conversations this weekend. Actually, I was at the Summit series with the Summit guys in Eden, and big shout out to those guys. They've got a great thing going. They've bought Powder Mountain, and they've got like this real powerful movement that they're generating. And I really respect what they're doing. There's a baby there with the mom, and they're like, oh, hey, Pedram's got a kid coming, and so we got a kid coming in April, and a few people came out of the woodworks and said, listen, don't let the inmates run the asylum. Like, you have that kid join your life and take them everywhere and expose them to everything. And so, like, I had a long talk. I just got back last night, so I had a long talk with my wife about it, saying, look, we're not. I don't want a helicopter mom over this kid, right? Like, we're gonna get this kid dirty. We're gonna strap him up. We're gonna take him everywhere, and we're going to have him, like just taste life and be around people and not talk to him like he's an idiot because he's young. Like an adult. Yeah, exactly. And just let him evolve into what he has the potential to evolve into by letting him taste the world and not being sheltered. Right, and so it's a big part of what the next few years are going to look like for us is taking this kid with us everywhere.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Well, talk to us a little bit about the movie Vitality, because I want to make sure that everybody leaves this interview and clicks on the link to watch the movie that you're going to so graciously provide for. Yeah, we watched it and we loved it. We actually watched it on an airplane back
right when you gave it to us.
Meeting you the first time a while back now. So tell us just a little bit about what we may expect when we watch the film, and maybe kind of what you want the people watching the film to get out of the movie, from the creator's perspective.
Sure. The reason I made the movie really was, in a clinical setting, I was kind of tired of repeating myself, and I say that kind of flippantly because you have all these commonalities. If you've been a doctor long enough, you end up realizing that you're having the same conversation very often. It has to revolve around lifestyle. Hey, look, diet, exercise, sleep, and mindset. If you can kind of get those things under control, usually everything else starts to work out just fine. And so what I did was I really, there's some friends of mine that were filmmakers, and they wanted me to host the movie. And then we kind of got into a disagreement about where to take it. They wanted to go hippy-dippy technologies that can cure AIDS that the government doesn't want you to know about type of thing. And I'm sitting there shaking my head saying, man, if I could just get people to eat vegetables, I could change the healthcare of this country. Like, you guys are missing it, right? And so what we did is we created a superstructure that's very simple. So with vitality at the center, and then there's these spheres around it of diet, exercise, sleep, and mindset. And the whole premise is you don't want to, if you had a sliding scale, right, of what health is from 0 to death, right, would be where the healthcare system hangs out. And that's, all the interventional stuff that we do. And a lot of times even like, you go to your acupuncturist because your neck hurts. You go to your naturopath because, your digestion isn't good. Your chiropractor because of this. It's still on this side of the spectrum, right? And what is not being talked about is everything from 0 to awesome, right? From 0 to vitality. And so what we're trying to teach people is how to enhance this innate vitality that kind of bubbles up from within when we're healthy, which becomes a force field or a cushion and really an offset to the disease. So if instead of going from disease to disease, running to your doctor saying, "Oh, help me, please, great doctor, I've fallen into your lair," you really are actively involved in this thing called health, and it's not like a destination, right? It's not, you know, people who like say, okay, I'm going to go to the gym because I got this resolution, and they finally, like, you know, they get there, you know, which is rare, but they get there, and then they're like, they're in this position where they're like, oh my God, this is the body I've been working for, and they take a couple pictures, they might hang out there for a week or two, and then it's downhill from there, baby. You know what I mean? Then you're always trying to get back. And that's kind of how people deal with health. It's like, oh my God, I took those antibiotics, and then I even took some probiotics, and I feel so much better. What are you guys doing Tuesday night? Let's get some drinks. Right? And it becomes this whole roller coaster ride, instead of understanding that it is the journey. Health is the journey, and it's the vehicle that allows us to be able to then get up and have abundance in our businesses and with our families and our loving relationships, and talk about going to Indonesia and doing these awesome things. Those are, the health is kind of a prerequisite to being able to, like, cruise the planet and have a good time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, vitality goes there, and it's done really well, and it's just people love it, and it's not as sophisticated. Like, if you're like, oh, I'm a doctor and I already know that stuff, it's like, great, then I made this for your patients, right? We simplified health and boiled it down to something that your average American can understand, and everything up from there can appreciate, right? So we have doctors, we have the Institute for Functional Medicine, we have ACAM, we have a bunch of doctor group, like big reputable doctor groups that have not only endorsed it, but supported the movie and shared it with people, because they're like, yeah, this is it. This is the messaging we need people to understand about the future of healthcare, right? And so it's been very powerful.
Don't say it's not for the doctors, because in all reality, I think if more doctors watched it, they would know better how to, even if they kind of know what to put into someone's life to make them healthy, this gives them the language to use, to say there's 4 areas and this is what I want, and I think it's a great tool for the doctors to use.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's really what we did with the IFM and ACAM, is we used it as an educational platform for the doctors to be able to even broach the lifestyle conversation. Kind of like the 400-pound dude that you were talking about, right? The doctor didn't even have it within his framework to know what to do with that guy. So it's just basically like, you know, punt, right? Just move on, versus saying, okay, you know what? Check it out. Here's a movie that might help you. Here's some resources that might help you. You came to me for help, and it is my responsibility, and I actually took oaths, right? I took an oath to be of service to you, and so it's my responsibility to connect those dots and be a channel for that, and a conduit for that. And right now the doctors in a large majority of cases are not doing that. And that's also where there's a crisis in the healthcare system and things are falling out from under us, is because the people that we are entrusting with our health have kind of given up on our health and are just managing disease.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and again, for everybody watching, we're big fans of the Vitality, you know, the movie and the whole project that's going on kind of behind the scenes.
There's a challenge with it, correct?
Yeah, we're doing the Vitality Challenge. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you know, what we did is, like, I've been doing this practice called a Gong, which is a 100-day practice that I did starting in my Kung Fu days, which was, all right, you are going to pick something to do every day for 100 days, and if you fail, you start over. And what it really did was it taught me discipline, and it taught me to step into my personal power. And everyone goes, oh, 100 days, that's too long. And it's like, you know what? I don't make the rules. That's how long it takes for good habits to really burn in, right? And so what we did is we said, okay, the Vitality Challenge is we have a survey, like a quiz, where you get your Vitality score, and then based on that Vitality score, kind of figure out how to set up your challenge. And we have, you know, books and workbooks and all kinds of tools set up to help people walk through that, right? And so if you make a small change in each category, diet, exercise, sleep, mindset, if you make a small change in each of those and you do that little thing every day for 100 days, watch what happens. Right, and it's those small changes that really move mountains, because people, you know, I think that there's so much hype in the industry that people go, oh, you know, what I'm going to do is go get some 7-day detox or 21-day cleanse or whatever it is, and just pipe out all my stuff and absolve myself of all my sins, and then, you know, be healthy. You know, it's kind of like,
put it right back in the next day.
Yeah, it's like the Godfather going to confessional on Sunday type of model. It's like, well, how many people did you whack this week? Okay, well, you know, 10 Hail Marys, you know, get on. And it's not reality, right? And so that's not how health works. And so what we're doing is we're bringing sanity back, and we're working with, you know, good doctors and good people who are in the business, and we're actually a big fan of the Nutrients line, and we're going to be recommending that to all of our people. I've personally been on it for a while, and I really can tell the difference. And so just sensible stuff that works. and putting that in front of people, because I'm just tired of all the BS. I'm tired of all the like shenanigans out there, and I'm tired of people trying to make money off of well-intentioned people who need help, who are now just kind of going down, just with a hook in the mouth, just going down like in some sort of sales stream. And it's just, I find that there's a lot of unethical stuff out there, and we're taking a stand and just kind of, you know, telling it like it is and giving people what they actually need.
Yeah, and that's why we love working with you, because you do have the ethics, and we feel the same way. You know, people really need the help, and the information is out there, but it's not about, you know, the next gimmick all the time. It's about giving them the harder message. Yeah, it's going to take 100 days. We're not going to fix your problem in a week, and it isn't going to be by drinking a glass full of juice. There's going to be a lot of work involved. But I think if the people go through the 100-day Vitality Challenge, they will see a huge difference in their health. So we definitely recommend you to watch the movie and join that Vitality Challenge. And
then tell everybody else once you see it how cool it is. Because like once you see it, like you want to share with somebody else. I know we brought ours to our mothers because you know, it's always nice to tell the family that they, you know, to remind them of how important their health is too. So
yeah. Well, we're getting close to the end of our time. We could sit here and talk with you all day, and we wish we could do this more often. Our last question for you is, what's your hope for the future for food and nutrition? What, in a perfect world, would you like to see happen?
You know, I'm a big fan of Thomas Jefferson, and his whole shtick was, you know, a country that can't feed itself is in trouble. I'm a big fan of micro, community, local organic farming. I'm a big fan of CSAs. I'm a big fan of decentralizing and really moving food back out to all the hubs where people live and having people be a lot closer to the food, and educating people to get back into the kitchen, and really moving some of those. And we've done a lot of work with the Environmental Working Group and a lot of these groups that are kind of pushing on some of this stuff to really change some of the behavior of our tax-paid subsidies out of, say, the big commodity crops and into local organic produce, and then putting that into the schools, putting that into the hospitals, putting that into the places where it matters most, so that we can have a renaissance from the ground up, and it revolves around food and nutrition and micronutrients and all the things that we talk about. But it really has to happen on a local level, and then we could push it on a policy level. And we're very heavily involved in stuff like that at well.org, and we're just, you know, we're fighting the good fight, but we can't do it without our viewers and our listeners. So, you know, if you're watching this, you guys, there is no, like, I'm not out in Washington banging on a door trying to like champion this for you. There are people doing it, and I'm trying to support them. But it's you know what, you can't rely on myself and the Caltons to do this. Everyone needs to kind of get involved. And our stance in this is you vote with your dollars. So support companies and causes that are doing the right thing. Buy your produce from the people that are doing the right thing. Put your money with the good guys, and then not only are you empowering the good guys, you're influencing other people that have been sitting on the fence wondering how they have to make a deal with the devil to realize that they could just go ahead and be a good guy and be supported in this new economy. So vote with your dollars and buy local, buy organic, and really work to get that into your micro communities. And that's where I hang my hat on that.
That's fantastic. We tell people all the time, you know, you are a role model to so many people. Even if you don't think you are, everyone is looking at how you're acting, where you're spending your money. You have children, or you have a sister or a brother, and if you just make a few small changes yourself, like, they will follow. They'll say, wait, why is she doing that? Or why is he buying it that way? And we're going to make this change because every one person has such a bigger voice than they think they have right now. And we want people to be aware of that. Like, it really is about starting the change from the ground floor up in one small community, and then making it go nationwide. So it is everyone's responsibility, and thank you for making sure everyone knows that.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times people think that their words aren't being heard, especially by family members. We hear that all the time. You know, I tell my family and they don't listen. Remember, leading by example is the best way. They are watching you. They may not be hearing you, or it may not appear they're listening to you, but they do watch, and over time we've noticed that people that we thought weren't listening start to change when they just kind of mimic what we do. So that's probably the best way to get the information out there that you want them to, you know, to follow you for your loved ones.
And not just, I mean, if you're watching this right now and you like the content, you know, make sure to stay connected with well.org. Watch what Pedram is doing. Make sure to subscribe to our channel here. Watch the other shows that we're going to be putting on, all our different shows that we're starting now this season.
Check out House Calls if you haven't seen it yet. Also, Treadmill Talk. Those are the other two shows we have on Calton Nutrition TV. Check, make
Stay
sure.
tuned and send it to tell other people to watch things.
Yep, and make sure you check out the new Be More magazine this month. We'll have that link below this interview as well. So, Pedram.
And the app. Don't forget the app, guys. We are so proud of the Newsstand app. It's in the iStore now. That's like the Apple platforms for your phone or your iPad. And we'll have Android and Kindle in the next couple months. But it is awesome. It's sexy. It's beautiful. People love it. I'm getting so much love mail from that. It's crazy.
Sexy nutrition.
I love it. Yeah.
Not only will it make you want to have more sex and feel better, look better, but it's actually just the app itself is sexy. So, Pedram, you did an awesome job with that.
You did. That's in the Apple Store. They can find that there, right?
Yeah, just go into the Apple Store or the Newsstand and just type in Be More Magazine, and it'll pop right up. And, you guys, once you've seen it and you love it, please give us a review. Please give us a rating. That really helps us kind of push this message to the top. We're not supported by the big drug companies. We're not out there taking bad guy money in these types of ways. So this is homegrown and it's grassroots. So we need you guys to kind of vote it up, if you will, so that we can kind of keep getting this message in front of more and more people that need to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you like the content, or everything you see with In Depth and today's interview as well. Be More magazine is full of that every single month. I think what do we have? About 15, 20 articles in there every single month from just some of the top nutrition and health and wellness experts in the world. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely do so.
Well, I guess our time with Pedram is over. I can't even thank you enough for coming and joining us today. I know you've been traveling, you've been crazy, but we are so very honored that you decided to come and spend a little bit of time with us, your friends, and to share with everybody what you're up to, because it really is amazing work. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. You know I love you guys. I love everything you guys are doing, and anything I can do to support. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to our next encounter. And if you guys are watching this, share it with your world, because you know what? This is the kind of messaging you need to hear. You turn on your TV, some drug company's going to tell you how you need to live. This is the truth. We're telling it like it is. That's why we're here.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on Calton Nutrition Television. Again, until next time, remember that life's a journey. Discover health. We'll see you on the next show.
See ya.
Bye.